Krishna says, someone who's happy within. What is he really referring to? So if you study the Yoga Sutras, which we did, we heard Patanjali break down the yoga culture into two parts, external yoga and internal yoga. So we see Krishna is referring to this, and Patanjali called it internal, the Sanskrit words, Antaranga Yoga. So we can see this word shows up three times in this mantra. Antar Sukha means inner sukham, inner happiness. Antar Aranas, inner activity. Antar Jyoti, Jyoti, light, inner light from within. Yes, so Prabhupada translates it. One whose happiness is within, who is active within, who rejoices within, and is illumined within, right? Jyoti, illumined within, is actually the perfect mystic. He is liberated in the Supreme, and ultimately he attains the Supreme. So this is a beautiful mantra to explore what Krishna is trying to guide us into. Remember, the yogis understood this universe that we're living in has, we call it koshas, K-O-S-H-A-S. Koshas means layers. Now, because we are within these subset, we are a subset of the big universe, our bodies, we are also within these koshas. The soul is living within these layers. So when Krishna makes the statement within, what is he really referring to? He's referring to the subtle koshas. So what is the physical kosha? That physical sheet which we can see. Yogis call it the Annamaya kosh. A-N-A-M-A-Y-A, Annamaya kosh. Now, we don't see someone's energetic kosh, Pranamaya kosh. So that's part of this inner, when Krishna says within, he's referring to these inner layers. So we have the next kosh, the Pranamaya. Then we have the Manomaya. That's the mental sheet, the mind. We have the Vigyan Maya, the intellectual sheet. And then the most inner sheet is the Ananda Maya. So that's the blissful sheet. So when you meet someone, we're meeting a very complex being. The body you're seeing, it's the external sheet. So when Krishna says, someone who's happy within, what is he really referring to? Someone who's experiencing he says here, someone who's active within. What does that mean? That means the yogic intellect is very active. The yogi's mind is active. The yogi's ego is active. So those are the parts which we don't see. Yes, we don't see the inner being. Our mind, our eyes can only pick up the slow density atoms, which vibrates on a slower frequency: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Now, when Krishna says there's happiness, the yogi who is happy within, it means the astral body, the intellect is spiritualized. The intellect is so topmost intelligence. The intelligence of an evolved being, that intelligence is coming from the soul or the wisdom. Krishna says, I am teaching you the science of the soul all over again, Arjuna. So that being, their intelligence is so sharp. They understand, oh, I am not my body. I am not my emotions. I am not my thoughts. I am not my ignorance. As a spiritual being, Sat Chit Ananda. Chit means knowledge, full of knowledge. The soul is actually full of knowledge. And that's why when we start to read the Gita or the sutras, it's like, oh, I know this knowledge already. This makes sense to me. Why? Because it's already in the heart space. So when we're studying this conversation, oh, I knew this, I knew that. It started to make sense to us again and again and again. So the yogi who is happy within means his intelligence is not just of a material aspect, but he has spiritual intelligence simultaneously. And with that spiritual intelligence, he can relate to the material intelligence outside. He can understand the material world, how gravity works, sunrise, sunset, moonrise, the stars, earth, water, fire, air, ether. He understands the material energy. Simultaneously, he understands the spiritual wisdom. And he knows the spiritual wisdom is superior to the material wisdom. They go hand in hand. And because he respects the material energy so much, he can then, because we respect it, we can then influence it with spiritual knowledge. So as we get spiritual wisdom, we can then affect our earth, water, fire, air, ether body. Once there's spiritual intelligence, we start to stop the action and reaction, the karmic reaction. We start to partake in actions which don't cause misery. When he says, illumine, right? From within. So beautiful. We have the physical eyes, but we also have the spiritual eyes. So when someone has this wisdom, it can be bright outside, and they can still see clearly the spiritual beings and how the universe is working. Birth, old age, disease, they understand. Someone can have two beautiful eyes, but if the spiritual intelligence is not there, it's a sunny day, midday, and they're still in darkness because they're only seeing the earth, water, fire, air, ether elements. They're pulled by desires to facilitate the senses. They get angry, they lose it, right? So we know when we are illumined, right? You count your breaths before you scream at the person, right? So that means you're taking the time to Yogi Charu, connect to the illuminating wisdom from within. Don't give in to the senses. You're getting upset, you're getting angry because one of the desires are not being fulfilled. So when we learn to check it, that spiritual wisdom helps us to illuminate us. So you can see daytime and so many people are just being pulled by the senses, mean they're not really awakened the lamp from within. So this wisdom is going to help us to turn on the lamp from within, turn on the moon within, the moon rays, the sun rays from within. And that way we'll be able to see with true illumination. And once we're illuminated, we start to live from the aspect of the Atma, of the soul. Krishna says, if you do that, you are already a perfect mystic. He rejoices within. We get happy from within. When we are able to control the senses in moderation, we all get happy. That means we are using the illumination of the wisdom to override our mind and prana, or energetic sheet. How many of us did something illuminating today? You use one of the senses in moderation and you felt inner content, inner happiness. Yes. Then I'm pretty sure today, one of these senses override the intelligence and we gravitated to the ignorance and we gave in and we performing an action which create misery. So it's so beautiful when we start, oh wow, okay, I can live from a platform of my higher self, an illuminated state.